Hi there, it's Lori, and I'm here with a Wacky Wednesday. So we'll call this a story. I wish it was fictional. Because why does this stuff happen to me in relation to doctors? I have really good doctors, and my whole life I have had good experiences with doctors. That sounds kind of creepy, but positive experiences in doctors' offices generally. Um, so for those of you who weren't aware, oh no, where is it? I didn't lose my paper towel, did I? I don't know. Anyway, a few months back, I had gone to the doctor and they did an ultrasound. No, I'm not pregnant. That's not what we were checking. Anyway, okay. So they do an ultrasound. Then the doctor comes in. I don't normally have a male doctor for uterus problems because they don't have a uterus, but that's my own personal thing. I needed an appointment ASAP. Comes in, he's got Beach Boy vibes, but older than me, like probably close-ish to retirement. I'm like, oh, whatever. I just need an appointment. So literally walks in, says, has anybody ever told you you have adenomyosis? And I'm like, no, what is that? Because I've heard of endometriosis, but he's like, oh, it's kind of where the lining grows into the muscle of the uterus. That's the sum total of what he explained. But the part that's special, extra special, is that he wrote the word not on a prescription pad, not on a sticky note, not anything. And I keep it and I can't find it right now, and that makes me sad. I keep it because it's so freaking hilarious. I'll find it. He wrote my diagnosis on a paper towel. And any woman who's been to an OBGYN, you know exactly the kind of paper towel I'm talking about. Folded it in half, wrote the word adenomyosis on it. Said, but you need to follow up in a couple months because you have cysts on your ovaries. Cool. All right. Couple months later, I go in, they make me have another ultrasound for the ovaries, so that okay, whatever. And I said, last time they told me adenomyosis and I don't understand, and can you help me understand this? She, because I made sure I had a woman this time, was wonderful, explained everything. I felt like at least I had some understanding going forward and that I was doing basically what I could to keep it at bay. Anyway, then I was having some issues. Last year, I had a hiatal hernia surgery, which is the one I had was where the top of, I know this is all medical stuff. So seriously, if you're not into that, that's fine. You can fast forward. I'll put a timestamp out of courtesy because I know some of you don't want to hear all this stuff. All right. So I had a hiatal hernia, but it was the type where it's like your esophagus is like kind of blousing over, like where it meets the stomach. And so it's not like closing off properly, but it wasn't painful. I didn't even know it was there. Well, it was the cause of my GERD or acid reflux. Anyway, they did this procedure. So this was March of 2024. We're almost a year later now at this point. And I'm like, I feel a lump basically right to the left of where the surgery was done. And I'm like, oh, and it hurts. And then sometimes when I pick up my grandson, who is not little, now he's 14 months, but even when he was 12 months, he is not a small boy. Thankfully, he's fairly light for how tall he is, and he loves to be held. Anyway, he's a sweetheart, but seriously, it was getting inflamed and getting bigger, and it hurt all the time. And so I go see my doctor. My doctor says, you got to go see the surgeon. They tell me when I call, the surgeon is retiring. So if there's surgery needed, we'll have to refer you to someone else. I'm like, that's fine. Oh, so sorry. That's fine. Refer me. Okay. We're still not to the part of this story that I'm like, why? This is not, no. Anyway, so this surgeon had always been very black and white, always kind of running a little bit behind because he was an expert in this particular procedure. And so he was running behind, and he was always, you anticipated 15 minutes late to your appointment at least. Anyway, he's retiring. So things might be a little bit different for him. And he was always very black and white, but friendly, professional, but not particularly warm, not like cold, just not chatty. I'm chatty. I don't know if any of you all noticed. I'm a chatty person. All right. So he, first of all, they take you back to the room, you sit down, and then you're waiting a few minutes, right? So I literally put my phone over in my purse for a second, or I'm so sorry. I grabbed my phone from my purse to silence it or whatever, put it back, and he knocks at the door. I'm talking 30 seconds from the time they put me in the room, and he was in there. I'm like, okay, that never happens. I don't care what doctor office you go to. I've never had that happen. So he comes in the room, and I say, oh, I hear you're retiring. And he goes, well, I'm moving back to India to take care of my family. And he was super chatty and friendly and warm. And I'm like, am I in the right place? But anyway, no, he's very good at his job. He is. So I explained what was going on. He says, where you're showing me the issue is the incision is so small, the chances of a herniation, because that's what I thought. I was like a surgical herniation, which basically a new hernia is caused because it goes out through one of the incisions, like the incision didn't heal all the way. Anyway, it's like the chances are so small. Plus, you're so far out. I'm so sorry. Oh, I might actually have to edit some of those. Man, lots of yawns tonight. All right. So he's like, okay. He feels it. It's like right under my rib, just to the left of my sternum, right under the rib. He feels it, and he says, that's weird. Do any of you ever want the doctor to say to you, after feeling something in your body, that's weird? Are you kidding me? I mean, what? But then he said, it doesn't feel like a herniation. Let's go to do an ultrasound. All right. I tell him about the adenomyosis. So he orders both an abdominal and a pelvic. I'm like, okay, whatever. I get the ultrasounds, and I get no phone calls, but I see it in my chart, like my online chart. So I look at the results. Basically, the conclusion and why my surgeon didn't contact me is he's got a very no news is good news kind of approach to things. It was nothing, so it's probably scar tissue is all that I'm feeling. And sometimes it gets irritated. I do scar really badly. Based on my knee surgery, I wasn't that surprised by it. Anyway, so that's scar tissue. However, the pelvic, part of it says, shows signs of adenomyosis, and then says, no signs of adenomyosis. Why? Why? So I scheduled an appointment, and thankfully it was the second, my follow-up lady. I said, what's going on? So she got the images from the hospital because it wasn't done in their office. She's like, first of all, they're not experts in this. But she explained why he said there is evidence and then why he said there isn't evidence. And it's because they kind of weren't looking in the right place. That sounds really weird. It sounds like my body is really weird on the inside. No, but either way. So she explains all of it to me, but yeah. Yeah, yes, I do have it, by the way. Yes, I do have it. And she says, instead of being shaped like a uterus, it's shaped like a big fat light bulb. So cool. She was amazing. Positive. Like I said, I'm used to positive doctor experiences. They're usually wonderful and helpful, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, you never ever want a doctor to feel something on your body and say, that's weird. But at least he didn't blow it off and he sent me for ultrasounds. But the fact that I haven't heard from them is driving me crazy. I have emailed them because that's usually how I get a response. I'll have to call them tomorrow. Anyway. Oh, by the way, if you watched my Tackle It Tuesday, this is partially going to be related to that. I have therapy tomorrow. So I do recognize that I need counseling now. I need therapy now. But anyway, you'll only think that's particularly funny if you watched my Tackle It Tuesday. But I need some opinions. So this could become not just a Whacky Wednesday, but a Whip It Wednesday. I think some people call it that. Is this done? Or does it need more across the top? It's got clips. It's taller than it is wide by a couple inches. I believe it's 35 wide and 42. 35 wide and 42 this way. Or does it need a little bit more? I don't have a ton more of the blue. I'm pretty much out of the fuzzy, but I have lots of this. So that's fine. I mean, I can make more clouds to make up, but I do have some blue. I have enough for a couple sections, but again, I would have to change to just that and no fuzzy. Oh, I do have some fuzzy over here on this part. So I just need to figure out how to drag that over. Anyway, is it done? Can I finish it? Or does it need more? Does it need a couple more rows? I don't know. Put your opinions in the bottom. Because for now, it's getting set aside. I have plenty of this left if I need to. But I can make nice baby hats out of that if not. Is it done? Does it look like it needs more? Or is it done? Anyway, that's the Wipeout Wednesday part. And yeah, just make sure you go to the doctor if something's weird, but you hope they don't think it's weird. But at least he took me seriously and sent me for the ultrasounds to make sure. I appreciate that. Sometimes you have to be persistent about that. I pretty much have never had those experiences, but I know lots of people that have. Anyway, that's my Whip It Wednesday, because that's my work in progress, or maybe it's done. What do you all think? And then that's the update on my medical shenanigans. Yes, I have that condition. Yes, indeed, I do. But I do not have a surgical herniation. But I still don't know exactly what it is. They ruled out, they said no, all the things. No, all the bad things is what I'm trying to say. So there we go. There's your Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Throwback Thursday, so you'll get to see my next make. Actually, what I'm going to do is go back and show the actual first hat that I made. I saw it on Facebook. I didn't have it in my photos. So I actually made this one first, and there's a fun story that goes along with where that hat went, because it got its own head right away. It went to a happy home right away. No, I take that back. Not right away. Not until after I had a YouTube channel. That's a whole thing. Anyway, you'll get to see that or hear about that in the Throwback Thursday. So there's your updates and everything going on in my life. And well, not everything. There's a lot I left out. But that's all the wacky stuff. Doctor saying that when he felt it. That's weird. One of the most serious men I've ever met. Well, at least, in a professional way. Like the other doctor would have not, well, he would have said that because he wrote my dang diagnosis on a paper towel. So, good times. Anyway, you all know that. It's all silly. I will insert a picture of where I'm at. Please let me know in the comments if I need more or if it's good. Just leave it as it is. Thanks for coming in.